Let's get to the first story. TIFU by not knowing what Asperger's syndrome is. I was watching a random medical documentary just a couple of hours ago. And when they discuss Asperger's syndrome, my brain just went lamau and flipped a switch to make me remember my first official screw-up when I first came to America 20 years ago. If you look at the definition of clueless in the dictionary, my 12 years old face is right next to it. When we've arrived in America, we're very hungry. So we went to a diner so we can experience American cuisine for the first time. I was very excited and curious at the same time, so my senses were all over the place. I read the menu from front to back at least twice, because the diner was very busy, so I have a lot of time to kill. One of the servers went to the table behind me, and I heard a kid yell in somewhat a mixture of surprised and excited tone. Then the dad told the server sorry, he has Asperger, or so I thought. I still haven't gotten used to understanding American English just yet. I went back to read the menu again, but I don't see a menu for Asperger. I asked my brothers and parents what that is, but they just shrugged and told me to ask the server. It's their first time too, just probably not as curious as I am. When the same server went to our table to ask if we're ready, my parents told me to order first because I'm the closest. And also so I can practice speaking English. The screw-up conversation went as follows. Me, what is an Asperger? I no see it on the menu. Server, excuse me? Me, I heard behind me the son has Asperger. I want try. The man behind me overheard our conversation, and he chimes in. Man, hey son, do you mean Asperger's? Me, yes. What is that? It sounds exciting, I heard your son yell. Man, now chuckles, probably understanding the situation. Son, it's Asperger's. It's not food, it's a mental condition that my son has. He yells because he is easily startled. I was apologizing to the server earlier because I don't want the server to think that she made a mistake. Server, after collecting her thoughts while trying so hard to not laugh. Wait, do you mean Asperger, as in Asperger? Me, yes. It's not a burger. The man behind me, the server, the whole table behind me, and my whole table were now in full-blown laughter mode. The kid was banging excitedly at the table trying to show his emotion as well. The whole restaurant was looking at us with a high level of curiosity. At that moment, my face probably looks like an orange, and I couldn't do anything except sinking in my chair deeper and deeper. I was like, this is it for me, I'm just going to deport myself back home. After what probably feels like an eternity, the man chimes in again, tears still rolling down his face. Man, I'm sorry for laughing, son, but that was funny. Welcome to America. Yes, it's not a burger, it's a disorder. I apologized profusely to the father and to the whole table. But not only he's very cool about it, but he also offered to pay for my whole table. My parents kindly declined, still chuckling as well. My family torments me with the teasing all the way home. What's worse, my family researched what an ass is, showed it to me. And the torment continues for at least a whole month. Thanks a lot, curiosity. TLDR, my curiosity has led me to order a mental disorder in a restaurant. And to the second story, TIFU by getting the exchange rate wrong and spending $800 on a bottle of wine. So I've been living in Japan for almost 2 years now, and have been seeing a girl for about 6 months. The day being Valentine's Day, I made reservations for a course meal at a hotel restaurant. Admittedly, it's not my usual style, I'm perfectly happy going to cheap izakayas and that kind of thing. But variety is the spice of life, and we both decided it would be nice to dress up a little and have a fancy meal. 2 course meals were already going to set me back a pretty penny. But they fuck up was when it came time to order drinks. As befits a romantic dinner, we decided on a bottle of wine. I have long since decided not to pretend to be a wine expert, and to just ask the servers for their recommendation when it comes to this kind of thing. Our waiter went for the drink menu, came back with a tablet, and made a few suggestions, all around the 16,000 yen price range. Of course, I tried not to let it show, but I thought that was a bit on the expensive side and swiped to an $80 alternative. I asked him if it's a good wine. Oh, that's a very good wine, sir. I told him we'd go with that one, and he politely took the order and left. My girlfriend spent the next 10 minutes or so joking about the wine ordering process. And I thought she was making fun of me for going with a glass of cheaper wine. Fair enough. The wine was served to us and we both agreed it was really good. She kept going with the joking, though, and it was when she said that she hoped that it was 80,000 yen, and not $80,000, that it finally hit me. Somehow, even after living here for as long as I have, my brain misfired and I equated 80,000 yen with $80 when it's actually more like $800. By that point, we were well into the bottle, and there was no going back. Needless to say, that was a shocker, but I did my best to take it in stride and just enjoy it. She was pretty cool about it too, laughing about it but also showing concern about the outrageous price. I'm fortunate enough to not have to worry about it, and I'm thankful for that, but my bank account definitely took a hit tonight. I had to mentally prepare myself for when the bill arrived. Anyway, as I told her, we'll just be drinking tap water for the next 10 Valentine's days. TLDR during Valentine's dinner, messed up the yen-dollar exchange rate in my head and ordered an $800 wine at a restaurant instead of an $80 one. Now to the third story, TIFU by trusting a stranger and letting him change my tire for me. TIFU, that actually happened about 2 weeks ago. I needed to run into Walmart really quick on a Saturday. It's always busy on weekends, so I parked pretty far away and decided to walk instead of trying to find a close parking spot. I'm a female in my 20s, I was by myself. I ran in, grabbed what I needed, and was out within about 20 minutes. When I walked out to my car, I got in, and a male in his mid-30 seconds knocked on my window and let me know that my tire was flat. I got the creeps because I've heard plenty of horror stories of weird ways guys lure women out and grab them. But I wanted to check. I keep mace on my car keys, so I made it obvious that I was holding my mace as I did. Sure enough, my rear passenger tire was completely flat to the rim. He offered to help me change it. I said it was okay, that I would call AA, but he offered again and he seemed nice enough. So I accepted and said thank you. As he was changing my tire, he told me he saw me in Walmart, and then asked me a lot of questions like how old I was and if I had plans, a boyfriend, and so on. I deflected most of them, but I did tell him I had a beef and that my friends were expecting me. I noticed he had a gas can towards the front of what I assume was his car. I asked if he ran out of gas and he said yes, but he forgot his wallet at home. It seemed like he was fishing for me to offer to give him a ride, which of course I would never do. But I did give him a little money towards gas, and he insisted on trying to get my information so we could meet up and he could pay me back. I said no thank you, a good deed for a good deed, and I left it at that. As soon as my tire was done, I got in the car and left. When the tire shop opened during the week, I went to get my tire fixed thinking it was simply a flat. But it turns out there were 3 intentional stab marks in the sidewall of my tire. I'm pretty sure this was not a coincidence, and I think having my mace, keeping my distance, and saying people were expecting me saved me from something very terrible. I normally avoid Walmart at night, but this was broad daylight. TLDR, TIFU by trusting a strange man to change my tire, when it turns out he was the one that stabbed my tire, and was probably going to try something shady if I had been more naive. For all the ladies reading this, don't be naive, stay in your car and call AA. I feel like I'm at an award show. Thank you kind strangers for all of the love and awards. I'm overwhelmed with how much attention this post got. I tried reading through most comments, but I'm going to address the most common reply here. I felt like TIFU was an appropriate thread because I feel like I was too nice and didn't want to offend the guy. I'm not going to ever feel that way again. I went to the police today. The officer I spoke with said something similar has recently been reported at this particular Walmart, so he is sending my info and description to the sergeant of the precinct in charge of that area. I should be expecting a call from him. Mace equals pepper spray. I should definitely look into the legality of carrying a medieval mace, though winking face with tongue. I actually do know how to change my tire, put on chains, check my oil, etc. I even have changed my own alternator and brake pads. This particular day I was in a hurry and already ready to go see my friends, so I didn't want to get dirty. I have roadside assistance, so I figured I might as well use that. To the people saying this is fake, I really wish it did not happen. There is no point in lying to all of Reddit. I simply wanted to share my story because I really feel that had I been more naive, I might not be here today. I was going to post a pic of my tire, but I don't think I can since I didn't post this as a picture type of post. Now to the fourth story, TIFU by blasting the theme song to the nanny while my roommate is having intercourse. So I'm a guy and I have a female roommate. It's complicated. We've been roommates for a few months and we're still working the adapting to each other's lifestyle. Sometimes I'll leave the door when I'm using the hallway bathroom. Sometimes she'll forget to take the trash out. We're pretty good about having those conversations, but the one thing that has been off topic is the issues with our approach to having company stay over. The layout of our flat is pretty funky. Both of our bedrooms are down at the end of the hall, and literally, our beds are next to each other, only separated by a wall. Since I've been busy with work, I haven't had people over, but she's been farming swipes on Tinder. Players going to play, but I don't know if she realizes I can hear her. We both know what is going down when someone walks into the apartment at 11 p.m. on a Friday. But I'm pretty sure she thinks that she's super quiet. She's not. But the worst part is that she sounds like Fran Drescher's character in The Nanny when moaning. At first, I thought she was just playing it up one night because she was having to fake it through. But night after night, I swear I was hearing the flashy girl from Flushing in the room next to me. I held on to this information for some time, until we got into an argument over what type of dish soap to use. I'm not even kidding. And have been on thin ice since. She's been seeing the same guy for a few weeks now, and I began the habit for every time she was getting hot and heavy to play the Nanny theme song and have the speaker be incredibly close to the wall out of spite. The first night, it was me just laughing about it while playing it quietly. But over the nights, I began to turn up the volume. This leads us to last night. I wasn't doing too hot when it comes to my day-to-day operations and really was hoping they wouldn't be together that night. They were, good for them. This time, I couldn't hold it in and put the speaker on full volume. So much so that I found out my neighbor above texted me about it saying, "Why the fuck are you watching The Nanny at 10:30 on a Friday?" As the theme song plays out, I hear audible male laughter. Slowly, I turn down the volume to hear a part of the conversation. I just realized why he is playing it. He's just watching The Nanny. Shout out to my roommate for thinking this. It's a great sitcom. Don't get mad at me, you kind of sound like Fran Drescher when we're fucking. Spoiler alert, she got mad. After a solid few minutes of yelling, she kicks him out of the bedroom and I have yet to speak to either of them since. In an attempt to fake things out, I locked the door and fell asleep to The Nanny playing on my laptop to make it think I didn't intentionally play the song. I have since vacated the premises and stayed somewhere else to avoid the potential backlash. But I do know I have some apologizing to do. TLD, our roommate and I were having a house beef. I played the Nanny theme song because she sounded like Franny Fine. Her boy toy laughed. Probably caused their argument. Now in hiding until the dust settles. And let's get to the final story. TIFU by talking about the poop knife non-stop during a job interview. So I had a job interview today with Reddit. I was on the video call with the hiring manager and just talking about normal things. I spoke about my work experience, how I handle clients, how I went about analyzing user trends in order to create content strategies. All very professional. The HM then asked me to put together a hypothetical content plan. What sort of Reddit Y content I would show to users that best represented the website. He said to think back a month ago and consider what content Redditors would be interested in. So, of course, I start talking about interesting and topical events. I mention how in January, everyone was thinking about the upcoming inauguration, so I'd surface that as news on a global scale. I'd also then go a bit more local and find interesting content from a user's country or continent. And because all of the current world events can be so heavy, I'd include something light and fun, like the poop knife. As soon as I said that, the HM gave me this look crossed between disgust and confusion. HM, the poop knife. Me, yeah, you know, the poop knife. HM, I don't think I know what the poop knife is. And it sounds like that's a good thing. Me, oh yeah, definitely. It's a pretty gross story. You'd think we'd leave it at that, but no. I then went on to explain the poop knife story in detail for 3 minutes. Complete with hand actions. It felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. I could see myself word vomiting and saying the words poop knife over and over. I was willing myself to stop talking about the goddamn poop knife. But it was like my brain was locked onto this one topic and I couldn't think of anything else. The entire time, the HM's face got more and more horrified while I happily talked about users cutting up their gigantic poops. Finally, I came out of my daze. Me, so anyway, recently, users found out there was another Redditor who also had a poop knife. And everyone thought it was hilarious that two different people had the same poop knife idea. So, something like that. I went on to talk about how I'd show inspirational content, funny content, something cute, and other content tailored to the user's interests. I thought I was out of the woods, but my brain was still stuck on the poop knife. Me, and that's what I'd do. I'd show content from a variety of sources, something global, something local, and something funny, like the poop knife. Again, I did the cutting motion. It was like I had no control over my body and the spirit of the poop knife had decided to channel itself through me. I tried to move on to other topics, but the damage was done. The HM still had this look of utter confusion, doubt, and disgust on his face as we both said our goodbyes and tried to move past my shitty stories. Needless to say, I didn't get the job. TLDR, I was so nervous for a job interview that I couldn't stop talking about the Reddit poop knife story. That's it for the video, thanks for watching.